Hey guys, today we're going to be installing the VanTech roof rails on our van. It's going to make it where we can run a roof rack, and I'm sure most of y'all are planning on that as well. So we're going to show you how to do it. Let's get to it. Alright, so I'm going to show you the tools you need for today's little project. Everything's laid out here for you. I've got my PPE, just a pair of gloves today. You're going to be using a heat gun, so you don't want to get burned. Obviously, you're going to need a ladder. Our van is like 9 feet tall, so definitely need one of those. You've got the roof rails that came in the kit. Those are going to be labeled A, B, and C, and I'll show you the order those go in. And then it comes with this little packet of hardware, and it comes with the gaskets that go on the bottom. And I like to keep one of these little containers for hardware or anything loose, especially since we're going to be on the roof. So I've got my socket wrench with an extension and a 10mm socket. I have a 4mm Allen wrench, a set of scissors for whenever we cut this butyl tape, and then I've got some needle nose pliers, one of those clip removal tools. And you can use a flathead screwdriver in place of that if you don't have one. And then our heat gun. So, and then also we have this alcohol and some microfiber towels just to clean up the surface when you pull the plugs on top. So let's get to it. All right, so before we get up on the roof, I'm gonna go ahead and assemble my roof rails, and that way they are ready to go as soon as we pull those plugs up top. So as you see, we have everything here. We have our rails. They are labeled A, B, and C. And whenever you install these, it's in the instructions that the first hole on A, the last hole on B, and the last hole on C are omitted if you have a 170 wheelbase. And also when you install these, the letters that are on the rails all face towards the front of the van. So let's see. So we have the connectors here. We have these little plastic pieces here that go on the ends. And then we have the gaskets and the hardware, and I'll show you that here in a second. And I've added a tool to my tool list for this project, and that is a marker. And let me show you why. So whenever you connect these and put your gasket on, you're going to want to leave room for these connector pieces when you put your gaskets on. So if I can get that on there. So you're going to put it like halfway in between the connector, flip it over, and then I just like to make a mark on either side, and that's where I know that I need to cut my gasket. So I'll do that real quick. This is C, this is the shortest piece, and obviously it's going to have the shortest gasket. So you just peel this backing off. I'm going to start at my line that I made there. Get it lined up. Doesn't have to be perfect. And this one has just a little bit of extra. And this is the end, so I can cut it flush and then I'll install that plastic piece on there. But I'll show you a little trick. I need my scissors. Can you get my scissors?
Why, sure thing. Find them here in our handy dandy tools.
So, like I said, just cut that flush I'm gonna save it just because I might need to patch another piece. And then I'm going to put on one of these plastic pieces here. And you'll see there's a V on the end of it. And there's also a groove. That groove is gonna go in that hole there. And the V is gonna be facing up. So if you can get it to kind of start, all right, you could probably use like a rubber mallet, but I don't have one here now. So what I'm doing is I'm just gonna get it started. I have my leather glove there, and I'm just gonna hit it in, and there you go. Looks nice. So, all right, so next step with these rails is we have our hardware here. And there's gonna be the holes, you see, in the rail. You're gonna install these bolts, and that is where your 4mm Allen wrench comes into play. You're gonna install these bolts into these holes. And they're not all the easiest to do, since we just did the other side of the van before we did this side, just to make sure we had it. And like I said, they're not easy. So that's whenever I make a little bit of an adjustment with an impact driver or something, or a drill, just to get it started. You can start and then work with your Allen wrench, but some of them are easy, like that one was. So you're going to screw it in. It's just going to come out that back side. And get it nice and tight. And then you've started. You got to finish all those, and all of those, and all of those. So, all right. I'm going to cut to a time lapse doing that. All right, so now that we got these done, this is what it looks like. This is the back side. Got our gasket laid. Got the end cap on here. This is piece A. And so, like I said, that first hole is not going to have one of those bolts going through it. And so what I did is, with one of the pieces of gasket that I saved, I just threw it down in there to cover that hole, because I feel like water would sit in that and maybe eventually turn to rust. So, all right. And also, you may have seen in the time lapse, I laid this thing down and I just started some of those bolts with my impact driver. I did not crank down on them or anything, just started them. And then I went and I finished up with my Allen wrench. So it might be something you want to try. All right, we're inside the van. I just want to show you real quick. This is what the plug looks like on the inside. And then just kind of show them. They go along the whole side of the van.
Don't forget this piece too, down here, that we figured out.
Yeah, we'll have to remove the foam piece here, which we removed on the other side. That was kind of a surprise for us. There's nothing in the instructions about it, and I don't know if every van comes with a big foam piece like this, but we're gonna have to remove that.
Ta-da!
Well, a piece of it broke here, but I've never removed that and didn't know that I was gonna have to.
Yeah,
so this is the hidden plug here. So yeah, good luck with that. All right, so we're finally up on the roof. These are the two plugs that we're going to be removing. I'm going to show you two different ways. So since Rachel's here today and helping me, what worked with us on the other side was I heat this up with my heat gun, and she's going to be pushing from the inside. And then I'm going to be able to use my little clip pulling utensil, and it comes right out. And then on this one, what I'm going to do is, as if I was by myself, which some of y'all are going to be by yourself doing this project, I'm going to heat it up, and I'm going to attempt to pull it with this, but a lot of times these little heads will break off, and you're going to have to use your needle nose or something to get the head off, and then maybe push that little plug through. So, and then I've got this little box here, that way I can just put the plug in here and not just throw it on the ground or set it aside. So, all right, let's heat up the old heat gun. And it doesn't have to be on a high setting either, just enough to get this adhesive kind of bubbling. So once it starts bubbling, it's gonna be pretty much ready to pull. So I also have vinyl wrap up here on our van, and so I'm gonna have to watch out and not heat up our vinyl. So as I heat this up, Rachel's in there applying pressure. And there it goes, it's starting to come up. Can use this. And it came right out. And it's gonna leave behind a little bit of residue from the adhesive, but this is actually a lot easier to clean up when it's cooled off. So I'm gonna move on to the second one here and remove it by myself. You don't want to get the paint too hot, you're going to damage your paint. All right, so I can see the adhesive kind of bubbling, and that one came out pretty easy. So you might not have that kind of luck, but that one actually worked really well, so sorry. So I'm gonna move on to the rest of these things. Let's get these roof rails installed. All right, so now that you've got that adhesive off of all of these plugs, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and spray with some alcohol and use your microfiber towel. And we're just kind of cleaning the surface because this is actually going to be covered probably for the duration of your van's life. I don't ever plan on taking off these roof rails, so I just want this surface to be nice and clean. And then what we've done is, for a little extra step in preventing any kind of leaks, we've cut butyl tape just big enough to cover the holes. And we're going to lay these little pieces over all of the holes. So you're just going to put it over, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to press on the middle where the hole is, just to show the indentation of the hole. That way, whenever we bring those roof rails up here, we'll be able to see exactly where the hole is. It's going to line up pretty good anyways, but just a little extra. So, all right, so you can see that we've laid our roof rails up here on top of the van. I've already placed the connectors on there. And I want to go ahead and reiterate that the letters go A, B, C from front to back. And you also have to have the letters facing the front, the letters marked on the rails. Otherwise, it's not going to line up correctly with the holes. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to flip the rail over onto the holes. And remember, I pressed on that butyl tape and made it where I could see where the hole is a lot easier. So lining this up is not as hard. Just make sure all of them go through the hole. Everything's lining up nice. And then now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go inside the van and we'll install the hardware and set it in place. We're inside the van now, and you can see all the bolts sticking through the holes where the plugs were. And there's gonna be a little bit of excess butyl tape, and you're just gonna pull off that butyl tape. And then what we have is a washer, a lock washer, and a 10mm nut. And we're gonna go washer, then lock washer, and the nut. And you're gonna do this on the rest of the bolts coming through the ceiling. Get your 10mm socket. And you want it to just be hand tight. You don't want to crank down too much. What I'm gonna do though, is I'm gonna start at the front. I did this one just to demonstrate, but I'm gonna start at the front, work my way back. I'm not gonna set them as hard as I can, but then after all of them are installed, I'm gonna go back to the front, and then I'm gonna work my way back and get really good hand tight. So, and we'll be done. Hey, thanks for watching, everybody. We have our roof rails installed.
Yay.
And now we will be able to install our roof rack. So I hope this video helped everybody that is looking to do these Vantech roof rails, and stay tuned for the next video. Please like and subscribe. Have a good one.